You're listening to the Divine Timing Podcast, a weekly spiritual information station where souls check in, spirit speaks up, and energy gets the attention it deserves, all served with love and laughter. Come for the insight, stay for the laughs, and leave just a little brighter. Hello, and thank you for tuning in to the Divine Timing Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. D. And this week we are going to talk about meditation and you. But before we get into the weekly topic, let's go over our frequency forecast for the week. So this is for the week of March 30th to April 3rd. And this week carries a very distinct energetic signature. It's going to be shaped by a major Venus shift and a series of moon movements that create emotional, relational, and intuitive waves. The tone of this week's energy is going to feel earthly, clarifying, and stabilizing with a subtle undercurrent of some emotional recalibration. March was a really energetically charged month with lots of shifts happening, lots of health things coming up for people. And so now we're just going to kind of settle in and recalibrate a bit this week. Some core transits that are going to shape are some collective astrological events that influence us are going to be that Venus moves into one of her home signs, which is Taurus, bringing a grounded, sensual, stabilizing energy to some of your relationships, to finances, to your creativity and self-worth. This transit supports embodying what you really want, embodying your soul, slowing down, and reconnecting with what feels nourishing and sustainable for you. Now, let's talk about the moon transits. The moon sets the emotional tone day to day. So March 29th to the 30th, we have moon in Virgo, which is a very practical, detail-oriented kind of cleansing energy. So this is a great time to organize, to ground, to do any cleaning and clearing. And then on March 31st, we have the moon entering Libra, which is going to kind of shift us into some emotional focus of harmony, balance, and relational dynamics. So expect some conversations about fairness, boundaries, and connections may start to surface. And then April 3rd, the moon enters a Libra early morning and then stays there, amplifying the desire for peace, beauty, and emotional equilibrium. This softens the week's energy and encourages some diplomacy. So we may see that start to be reflected in our headlines as well. So this is a stabilization after emotional overload. With Venus grounding into Taurus and the moon moving from Virgo to Libra, the week brings a settling effect. People may feel a desire to simplify things, to slow down and reconnect with what feels real and relatable to them. So there's going to be some recalibration in relationships, which I mentioned earlier. The Libra moon energy highlights communication patterns. It's going to show where we need to make some shifts in the way we communicate, or perhaps some reciprocity and fairness, like oh gosh, maybe I'm putting way more into this relationship than I'm getting back. Some emotional balance and the desire for harmony. So this is the week where people may renegotiate boundaries or seek more peace in their connections. And then that embodiment that I talked about earlier with Venus in Taurus, this is returning to your body. So with the energy slowing down a bit from March, things like eating slower and more moving more intentionally, getting really grounded into yourself, your soul, and into the world around you, and reconnecting with things that bring you pleasure without the guilt of it. So this is kind of a frequency of coming home to yourself, that self-care, being okay with that. And it really needs to take priority. Then there's financial and creative clarity. Taurus rules money and creativity. So expect your priorities to get clearer. Expect to be able to make more practical decisions. a desire to invest in what feels aligned with you, and an amplification in some creative ideas that are simple and sustainable and friendly to the earth. So we have an energetic softening. After the intensity of March's transits, this week starts to feel like a gentle exhale. The energy is less about pushing and more about receiving. So spiritually, this week it invites you to have some grounded intuition rather than psychic overwhelm, right? When the energy is moving so fast and so frequently. This is going to invite you to really start grounding into your intuition and making decisions from a heart-centered place. It's a nice return to inner peace, listening to your body as the spiritual messenger, and chasing what nourishes your soul, not what's draining it. So this is the week where spiritual connection comes through stillness, beauty, and presence rather than dramatic signs. So from March 30th to April 3rd, the universe is guiding us back into our bodies, our values, and our peace. Venus settling into Taurus reminds us that spirituality isn't just cosmic, it's embodiment. It's the way we breathe, the way we choose, the way we honor what feels good and true. And with the moon moving from Virgo's clarity to Libra's harmony, this week is about balancing your inner world and creating a life that feels like home. So slow down, listen inward, let your energy soften. This is a week of returning to yourself. And you know how I love to point out synchronicities. Well, after I wrote the frequency forecast for this week's episode, I happened to check my email and I saw a listener question. And of course, it was the perfect question for the energy asking us to return to ourself. So for today's Dear D segment, I have the perfect message for everyone. The listener wrote, "Dear D, I've been trying to tap into my spirituality, but I can't figure out how to meditate. How do you meditate?" Now, this is my all-time favorite question to get because there is such a common misconception around meditation. And realistically, there are so many various ways in which one person can meditate. So let me start by busting some meditation myths first before I talk about how to. The first myth is I have to meditate for long periods of time to get real benefits. No, it does not have to be an hour-long meditation to have profound effects on your life. The truth is just 5 minutes a day can make a difference. And sometimes it's only done for less than a minute just to recenter, sometimes several times a day, and it is effective. Another myth that I often hear is, I can't meditate because I can't shut my mind off. You are allowed to have thoughts. You don't have to literally shut your mind off. And this is where most people get stuck because they think they aren't allowed to think. The trick is to learn how to not grab a hold of those thoughts and allow them to take you for a ride into the future or into the past, and to center yourself more on being in the moment. Another myth that I hear is that only monks or true enlightened ones can effectively meditate. Now, this is not true. Meditation is just like prayer. It's for everyone and anyone who is willing to open themselves up to it. Another common myth is, I don't have time. Well, we're all busy because we live in a very fast-paced world, and it seems to only be getting faster. Just as you make time to use the restroom and to sleep, you can steal moments for meditative breaks as well. It's all about setting your intentions. And remember what myth bust number 1 was. It doesn't have to be for long periods of time to be effective. Another thing that I hear is that I fall asleep. And that's very common in meditation. If you're lying down, sometimes you will fall asleep, but spirit is still working within you and around you during those times. And sometimes that's just a cue to you that you're sleep deprived and your body and brain needs that rest. So if you struggle because you keep drifting when you're meditating, really sit up if you need. And honestly, sometimes trying to meditate before you go to sleep actually will help you sleep deeper and longer. So do what is right for you. But I will say the first probably 3 months that I was teaching myself to meditate and following all of the gurus and things like that, there were definitely times even sitting up that I would catch myself drifting off. And to me, that was a sign that I needed some energetic resets in my life. If I was falling asleep that fast and that easily, that is a sure sign that I have not been intentionally giving my body and my brain what it needed. So once I adjusted my lifestyle and I set energetic boundaries and I gave myself more time to sleep at night, then I stopped falling asleep during meditation. Now you can go into very deep stages of meditation that feel almost like between an awake, a conscious and an unconscious state. But you see beautiful things there. And that is when some really deep healing and releasing happens. So I really invite you to give it a try. The last myth that I would like to bust is kind of a sensitive one. I hear very frequently when I'm working with clients that they are afraid that they are going to invite something evil in unintentionally while meditating. And I know there are a lot of different belief systems out there, and all beliefs are welcome here. But meditation is a high vibrational intention setting, right? You are intending to connect with your soul, with the divine, and you're doing it with the purpose of connecting to that high vibrational divine energy. Evil only lives in low vibrational places. So you are divinely protected because you're not vibrating on that same frequency. And I will speak about this on another episode, but remember what I always say. You have sovereign control of your energy. Nothing can get in unless you allow it to. And I have never, in all the years that I have been practicing my spirituality, encountered anything that I felt was low vibrational because I don't resonate on that frequency. So perhaps that's why, or I know that I was taught very early on in my spiritual journey that we have complete control. And sometimes if you are experiencing something that you're feeling is low vibrational, let that be a reflection of the level that you are vibrating on and work on raising that vibration. But you do not have to worry about unintentionally inviting something in that is considered evil or low vibrational. I don't even like the word evil. I prefer to speak in terms of frequencies. And so low versus high, right? And I just have never experienced it, nor has anybody who has learned how to meditate under my guidance experienced it. And so I would hate to see anybody have that stop them from giving it a try. And so anyway, now we've covered some of the most popular reasons why people struggle with meditation. Now let's go into how it's actually done. And the secret to meditation is understanding that you are sitting in the present moment only. What does that mean? Well, how often are you consciously in the present moment? Our day is run by us doing what is needed, what will get us through the day. Well, we are always thinking about what's coming next, right? Because what did I say earlier? We live in an extremely fast-paced world, and it only seems to be getting faster. What meditation really is learning how to be fully present with yourself in the present moment. Meditation is not about emptying your mind or sitting perfectly still like a monk. It's about softening the ego long enough for the soul to speak. When the mind quiets, even just a little, the energetic body becomes more responsive. Your chakras loosen and open up. The prana tube, that is your inner column of light, becomes clearer. Your frequency rises, making intuitive messages easier to receive. And you shift from reaction to awareness, reaction to what's in your environment to awareness of what's in your environment, where your spirit communicates. Thoughts will still come, and that's okay. The point is presence, not perfection. I'm going to guide you through a step-by-step tutorial here, and then at the same time I release this episode, I will also release a guided meditation for beginners to listen anytime that you need. Now, the first step is so easy that it's one that's often missed. Step 1 is to literally set your intention to meditate. Literally sit down, close your eyes, and consciously tell yourself that you are meditating and divinely protected and guided. Your intentions are pure. This is why you do not need to worry about encountering something unwanted, because anything you encounter here is an aspect of yourself and soul. So remember just to set that intention. I intend to meditate. I told you it was simple, and that's why most people forget to do that, and then they sit down, close their eyes, and start getting those racing thoughts, okay? Because they missed step 1, set your intention. And in step 1 is also where, if you're sitting down to meditate about a specific purpose, maybe a loved one's health or your own health or financial abundance or a situation in a relationship that you're having. Remember, step 1, sit down and set that intention. I am going to meditate today about my relationship with so-and-so, or you can get as specific or as broad as you would like. It's just make sure you set that intention. Step 2 is to sit in the stillness, breathing deeply and calmly into your lungs, feeling the here and now moment. Put your conscious awareness on what you feel, hear, and smell while just enjoying those things, not actually grabbing onto thoughts about them, but just hearing the birds, hearing the wind, hearing whatever little humming sound is happening in your house from, I'm sure, an electronic that's nearby, right? Whatever it is, just put your conscious awareness on your here and now surroundings. Step 3 is to imagine a column of light running from the base of your spine to the crown of your head. This is the energetic highway. That's the prana tube that I was talking about earlier, where intuition, soul wisdom, and spiritual messages travel. 3, visualize your breaths, that you are giving your chakras life force energy with your breath, because you are breathing in light and you are breathing through the chakras. Your chakras, if you don't know, are energetic centers in our body. They run from the crown, our crown, to our spine. I believe I talked about it on another episode. There's a lot of information out there about chakras if this is your first time hearing about them. But they live in your prana tube. And so it is, what you want to do in step 3 is seriously just give them breath, give them light. And while you're breathing through your chakras, imagine each chakra softening, brightening, and opening as they breathe, like they're their own little special set of lungs. Move them gently. What you want to do is just gently, I like the analogy of them being like a little set of lungs that are opening up. Some people prefer to picture them spinning. See, I can't even say it. I don't picture mine spinning. I literally picture mine opening up. And this is what I mean by there's no right or wrong way to meditate. It's a little bit different for each soul, and that's okay, because it's your intention that is so powerful. It is that intentional energy that you are placing on doing this in opening your chakras to that life force energy. So you can envision, starting from the base of your spine, your root chakra, that's where your safety lives, right? Your stability. This resonates on with the color red. Then your sacral chakra, this is where our creativity and our sexuality lives. This operates, generally resonates on the color orange. Then your solar plexus, right here at the top of your belly. Okay, your solar plexus typically resonate on the color yellow. Your heart, as you imagine, is right over your heart, the center of your chest. Okay, and that is the color green. Then your throat chakra, which is a beautiful blue. Your third eye, which is a deeper blue, that is right in the middle of your forehead. And then your crown, the very top of your skull, deep purple. That's your divine connection, okay? And so you just, as you're breathing in through this step, we're on step 3, and you're just breathing in and watching those chakras open up and take in that beautiful light that you are giving it. Now that what you have done is you've opened and you've cleared your chakras, so you're ready to receive. And receiving feels a little bit different for everybody. Some like to drop into their heart space. They really focus on their heart chakra because this is typically where the soul speaks the loudest. For others, it's their third eye, and for others, it's their crown. What is going to be key for you? Listen to your body. Where do you feel the tingles? Where do you feel some sort of sensation that's telling you, this is my space where I receive the most from? And sometimes it helps when you're feeling that tingling or that indication that you place your hand just over that. Maybe it's over your heart chakra or over your third eye chakra or your crown chakra. And what you're doing is you're just deepening that connection between your conscious and subconscious mind. Okay. And then you can simply ask for the request. You can say, Spirit, I'm listening. Show me what I need to know today. Or reiterate your intention that you set in step 1 for step 4, or excuse me, this is step 5, for the connection, right? And I'm putting them into steps just for people who like to be organized like that. Just know there's no right or wrong. It's okay if you sit down and just start breathing at first and then set your intention, or you sit down and you start envisioning your chakras opening up and then you set your intention. It's okay. I just put these in steps this way for the more organized mind that likes that. Now, the next question that I get asked a lot is, okay, so I have sat down, I have cleared my chakras, I am breathing, my eyes are closed, and I am listening, I'm in the present moment. Now what? Well, you need to open yourself up to receiving without expectation, okay? Messages come in forms of feelings, in a memory, a sensation, a sudden drop-in of knowing. Or sometimes when the silence just feels so peaceful, it's healing you. You might audibly hear a word, or you might suddenly remember something that you haven't thought about in decades, right? All of these are valid forms of spiritual communication. And so go with it. Let it happen. You might at first just see a bunch of colors and be in awe at those. Some people might see images. They might hear different messages. It is different for everyone because our clairs are different. And what I mean by our clairs are our spiritual senses. We have clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience. So what we can hear, what we can see in images, and what we can feel. Clairsentience is a big one, those feelings. So all of this is valid forms of spiritual communication, and you can get all or none of them during meditation. And sometimes silence is the answer as well. Remember that. The last step is to always remember when you feel that you're done, right? That there's no more tingling, there's no more feeling, there's no more images. The energy has run its course and you're feeling at peace and you're feeling it's time to close. Make sure that you give gratitude and you reground yourself. You want to thank yourself, your soul. You want to thank your guides, the divine. Okay, thank your body. And then at this point, you want to imagine roots growing from your feet into the earth to ground your energy. So this has been a bit of a rundown of a more traditional meditation. But what it is really about, y'all, is being present with your mind, body, and spirit to receive healing, guidance, and peace. And there are other ways too. You can do walking meditations where you literally go for a walk, preferably in nature, and set the intention that you are clearing your chakras, essentially taking yourself through the steps that I spoke about with your eyes open. You don't have to have your eyes closed to meditate. I often get spiritual downloads when I'm exercising because my mind and body are connected and I am open to receiving and my vibrations are up, right? Because my energy is up because I'm exercising. You can meditate in a bathtub, in a pool, in the ocean. That's amazing. Nature is a wonderful place to set this intention, to meditate in. Amongst trees. I have a favorite tree in my front yard, and quite often in the summertime, I just sit with it, sit in it. I sit next to it, and connect with it. It's an amazing connection. It always amplifies my meditations. What I really want to teach you, though, is not to get too wrapped up in feeling like there's a right or wrong. If you set your intention to connect with spirit and you stay present and intentional with your body and mind, then you are meditating and you're inviting a clearing of your chakras and a connection to spirit. Now, here's the kicker. Don't forget to receive. Sometimes people get too much in their head trying to follow steps and they actually forget to receive the feeling or hear the message. And no, you are not going to hear a voice other than your own. Whoever thought that listening to your intuition would come with a set of character voices was likely experiencing a hallucination. Spirit's guidance will come audibly through a thought that sounds like your own voice in your head. For any Harry Potter fans out there, this is one of my favorite Dumbledore quotes, and it fits perfectly here. When Dumbledore told Harry, quote, "Of course it's happening in your own head, Harry, but why on earth should that mean that it is not real?" End quote. Our mind is a powerful gateway for spirit, as is our heart. Our entire chakra system is how we connect and communicate. You may feel a pressure in your crown chakra or your third eye chakra, possibly on your temples, or a stirring in your stomach where your solar plexus live. Many have heart palpitations from your heart chakra. These are physical responses to connection with spirit, with that high vibrational energy. Once you get more practiced at meditation, the clearing of your chakras and connection becomes easy, but the benefits will never stop amazing you. Meditation is not about escaping life. It's about tuning into the part of you that's been guiding you all along. When you breathe, soften, and listen, your soul gets louder, your intuition gets clearer, and your energy aligns. And suddenly, you're not searching for connection, you're living from it. Every time you sit in stillness, you're choosing to return to yourself, and that is the real magic. So I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about meditation. I have an unclaimed message from Spirit this week that came during my morning meditation today. And I just thought that it is definitely something that many need to hear. So this week's message was all about following your heart chakra. I heard very clearly that there are a lot of listeners that are going to end up listening to this that have been ignoring their heart and letting their head and their mind run away with them. And so this is just a reminder that whatever that situation is, return to your heart center, return to your heart chakra, that space where you feel it right here for the truth. And make your decisions from that space. And I know that there's listeners here that knew exactly what I'm talking about because it's pinging in their body and mind. You might be getting the chills, or a thought of a situation just immediately popped into your awareness. You are being called to check in with your heart space before you make a decision. So I hope that helps for everybody that's listening. And just remember that you are walking in your purpose and you're shining in the light. So keep the light on.
I see the stars aligning in the velvet of the night, a map of ancient wisdom written in the silver light. Mercury is moving, but your heart is staying still. You're standing at the threshold of a higher kind of will. The cycle's turning slowly like a wheel within the sky. There is no need to panic or to ask the reason why. Just breathe into the present, let the heavy shadows fall. You're exactly where you're needed, answering the sacred call. Trust the timing of your life and let your spirit lead the way. The universe is speaking in the quiet of the day. Release the fear and find your ground. The soul is taking blueprint for the magic that is helping you survive. Saturn brings the lessons, but the sun brings out the gold. A story of a destiny that's waiting to unfold. So plant your feet in red clay, let the ancestors speak low. There is a rhythm to the harvest and a time for things to grow. Don't rush the transition or the shedding of the skin. The greatest transformation always starts from deep within. Trust the timing of your life and let your spirit lead the way. The universe is speaking in the quiet of the day. Release the fear and find your ground. The soul is taking flight. You're walking in your purpose and you're shining in the light. It's written in the houses and it's pulsing in your veins. Break away the gravity and lose the mental chains. From the moonbeams to the mountains, every atom has a part. You carry all the cosmos in the chambers of your heart. Trust the timing of your life and let your spirit lead the way. The universe is speaking in the quiet of the day. Release the fear and find your ground. The soul is taking flight. You're walking in your purpose and you're shining in the light.